This is the autism room. This is where we do the 5th grade and 2nd grade social skills. So the kids will walk in and the 2nd graders have a check-in with the Jelly Bean Jamboree, and they're used to that. And our 5th graders have a more mature check-in with the 1 through 5 list with all their names and put it right by how they're feeling for that morning. A lot of space in here, very nice to work with. Unfortunately no smart board, kind of a dumb board, but it does the job. We like it. Alright, this is our home. This is the EBD classroom. This is where we have a couple pull-out students. We have a small group LD math class that we teach in here. Very small group. Once again, space is limited, but we work with what we got. We also have a connecting breakout room for kids when they need to decompress, get out of that red zone. That's really good for them. And our office is also connected to the counselor's office, which is really good as far as keep the lines of communication open. Now that you've seen where I work, I'll tell you a little about our EBD program here at Aiken Road Elementary. We are an EBD Setting 1 and 2 program. We serve students in the grades of kindergarten through 5th. We have 14 students on our caseload with either the labels of EBD, LD, or OHD, sometimes a combination. We currently have 2 students who are being tested for initial evaluations. The EBD room is used mostly as a pull-out room, and we team teach 3 social skills classes with the ASD teacher. We kind of go hand in hand on those. We have a 1st grade classroom, we have a combination of 2nd and 3rd, and lastly we have a 5th grade classroom. And for a couple of the classrooms we combine the EBD and ASD students, and it's a fun mixture. So yeah, we do work closely with the rest of our special ed team. Here at Aiken Road, we have the prevention versus cure stance when it comes to dealing with our students' behaviors. We're very proactive in preventing behaviors. We want to shape the environment, the curriculum, and to some degree our teaching styles to prevent behaviors. Specifically in the EBD department, we create a schedule to be present during the unstructured times when good choices may be hard to make for our students. That includes AM and PM bus duty, lunchroom duty, playground duty, and ever since I got here we were able to have lunch appointments every day with the students, and that means each student has their day to bring a friend down and eat lunch with myself in our office. And it's really a good time for them because they get out of the chaos of the lunchroom, and it's really good for myself to get to know the student on a more personal level. When there's not 4 or 5 or 6 or 12 other kids in the room, it's good to have that one-on-one time as well. Our philosophy of the entire SPED Ed team is whenever we do encounter a behavior is to keep them out of the red zone, because once we get into the red zone, it's very hard to turn back. So we are taught to devote time to process these behaviors with the student, and that means grabbing their notebook right away, or it means grabbing a piece of paper out of the recycling. We do that. Anything to gather everyone who was involved, special ed, and if there's regular ed students that were involved too, we need them. And we'll get them around a table, and each side will tell their story, and this is where I play the judge, the jury, and the executioner. Each side will tell their story. There's going to be agreed upon facts, there's going to be non-agreed upon facts. And the key thing to focus is the agreed upon facts. If both students are in agreement that this happened or this was said, then that's what we stick to. We stick to the facts, which I like a lot. From there, we take those agreed upon facts and we make a decision. where did our decision making break down, or where could I have made other choices? And that's where the student comes up with maybe 3 or 4 things that they were taught in social skills that they could have not been in the situation in the first place. And then, maybe a quarter of the time it gets to no agreed upon facts, and we have to stick with scenarios. If I did this, what would you say? Or if I reacted like this, what would be the consequence? And more often than not, the kids just like to have that time to process, have that time to be heard, and then they can stay out of that red zone, like I said, and they can transition back to class as smooth as possible. My philosophy on education, and specifically special education, is based on 3 principles. Number 1, I need to create a safe and comfortable environment for myself and my students. I know that from personal experience, my brother has special needs. So we fell into the percentages. We came from a single-family home, low income, and I know that my brother going to school had a little more baggage than the typical child. That being said, I know that a lot of these kids have a lot on their plate, a lot going on. I know for the most part they want to do well in school. They just have, like I say, it's like they have a Ferrari brain and bicycle brakes. They just they can't control their impulsivity. That being said, I want to create that environment where they need to feel comfortable, they need to feel safe, and wanted. And that's my number 1 principle. Number 2 is I need to establish trust with them. Specifically, I have a couple students right now that I'm dealing with as far as trust issues. I've told them once they walk into that door and I meet them for the first time and I shake their hand, they've got my trust, they got my full attention. Anything that they need, I'm here for. But as soon as that trust is broken, it's their job to get it back. And when they leave at the end of the day, or when I leave my job at the end of the day, all I have is my name. And if I smear my name through the mud and that trust is broken, I've got nothing else. That's my number 1 priority is my trust. So conveying that message to my students and having them be open, I'd rather have them tell the truth about something they did than find out later from another person or from another teacher. And I just want that to be open, because now we've created, instead of creating 1 problem where they're telling me the truth and telling me the situation, now we have 2 problems with them lying to me as well. So establishing trust is extremely important to myself and my students. And the 3rd principle is that every child can learn and succeed, and we need to recognize that. I kind of think of it as a giant puzzle. One of those 3,000-piece puzzles is sometimes you have a puzzle piece, a student, and you find one that looks like it could work. So you play with it and you kind of push it in, you kind of force it in, and sometimes that's just not life. We can't force things upon anyone. We need to look around. We need to look at other options. We need to look at is it a corner piece, so it's going to go with the corner piece, and so on and so forth. We just need to find out what works for the kid, what's been successful in the past, and what does the student need to be successful in the future. And once we find that combination, we can kind of get all the pieces together and see the entire puzzle and how beautiful that can be. But similar to like a 3,000-piece puzzle, it is going to take some time. Sometimes people are really good at puzzles, and it doesn't take that long. But we do need to be aware that it may take longer than we like.